YouTube comments from a video titled, What U.S. Insurance Companies Aren't Telling You Informer. Part 5.
Phrenic Forensic wrote,
The biggest takeaway for me is to never trust a collector. They will lie through their teeth about what is and isn't legal. Know the law where you live and stand your ground.
A Death Stylist wrote,
I have to fight on a daily basis with these people on behalf of patients. Let me tell you, even when you tell them you're the insurance company calling because this member had insurance, they claim it isn't their problem. Then we have to spend hours going through back channels to leverage these accounts out of these corporations' books.
A 22 Quiet Mouse wrote,
It's true they come after you when it's not even your fault. I had a surgery and one MRI before was never sent to my insurance. But I received the bill months later, a few $100s. I call Cigna and they never got the notification the DR desk staff dropped the ball. Years went by still calling me. The bill went to $900. I talked with billing for the MRI company and Cigna dead end. I ended up emailing a cease and desist. After 4 years later, it was finally dropped off my credit report.
At Oilty 6900 wrote,
This is why Allah said insurance is haram, not allowed. Islam is the right path. Allahu Akbar. Believe me, the devil is trying to deceive you in so many ways. Allahu Akbar.
At Waken Bakery 42069 wrote,
I used to work for a workers' comp insurance agency, basically doing the tedious parts of the claim adjuster's jobs. They had this mask that showed a happy company, we're your family here, until you start calling off 3 days in a row because you are throwing up / in a panic episode / just generally too sick to work. You were expected to have a 97% attendance rate, take off no more than 1 day per month, in PTO unless you officially requested in advance, but their actions showed they really didn't like you taking time off. They draw you in with decent incentives like not terrible pay compared to other job postings and pretty good insurance benefits. I eventually quit because they had passed me up for a job that I was basically already doing. No, I didn't get a pay raise either. And the year previously they gave me a 1% pay increase because I got too much money from bonuses and promotions / raises. I got like $2,000 bonus check and went from $18 per in T25 to $19 per in T00 / hour that year. I am now trying to become a bud tender and am more happy despite how much less I will be making.
At HRS 795 wrote,
The company just walked away from their CEO D4D body and kept holding the conference as if he could easily be replaced with anyone as long as money can buy it. And those insurance companies' shareholders are as guilty as those leeches, treating human life as a commodity for generating money.
At Sean 900 FPS wrote,
The CEO's company denied 34% of its claims. Other companies denied 5 to 12%. That's $340,000 per 1 million clients. May he rot in hell, and his company had over 100 million clients. Think about that 34% denied out of 100 million. How many is that?
At David Connor Shover 51 wrote,
My last hospital visit resulted in a $12,000 bill for 4 hours in the ER over a UTI. I was in the worst pain of my entire life. I was accused of being a drug addict and dumped. I left in even more pain. I shattered my left humerus almost 2 years ago after slipping on ice. Not a compound fracture, so I didn't bother seeking medical attention. It healed, but it never set quite right.
And Numinous wrote,
My mom spent 8 months in the hospital because of 3 back-to-back strokes. I suddenly had to be in charge of every aspect of her life without any knowledge of her life, since she never prepared for a sudden event like that. She was 68 at the time, so she had Medicare, but she's also a surviving widow, so she has TRICARE for life. Well, because Medicare failed to send the remainder of the bills to TRICARE like they're supposed to, we kept getting endless bills. Over $1 million was spent on her care, and they were sending us bills to pay portions of that. I used almost every cent of her retirement savings to pay those bills, not knowing they'd never been sent to TRICARE. Turns out, my mom shouldn't have paid a dime, and Medicare refused to refund the thousands upon thousands back to us. Now that I've been taking care of her for 5 years, I know much more now, and I don't ever send a dime to any medical bill for her, and I have to send it to TRICARE myself because Medicare is still up to their It was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life, and I will never forgive myself for not understanding the system better. I was 32, and I didn't even know how to pay her mortgage or file her taxes. I don't care how young or healthy you are, you need a POA and a plan for your kids to make sure they know how to take care of things should something happen to you. My mom was climbing a mountain the day before her strokes because she was healthier than me, despite her age. We are dirt poor now and struggling. Never, ever, ever leave it to chance. If you are 18 or older, make a plan now, even if you don't have kids.
At Natalie 3373 wrote,
Until we transcend our monetary system as a species and apply science towards designing a society of abundance so that living on this planet is supported without exploitation of each other and hoarding of resources, then we are never going to be a truly civilized and peaceful species.
At Kenfear 5542 wrote,
Okay, so just to clarify, I hate insurance companies, but who's to stop someone from making a video like this with non-legit people and making it seem real? Not saying it isn't real, but where's the proof that it is? I'm willing to change my mind.
At Ben Ricard 1 wrote,
This shows the corruption and complacency even at the lowest level of insupernaches companies. There is nobody innocent who works for these companies. The good ones leave pretty quick.
At Buck 4671 wrote,
Okay, but what am I supposed to do with this information? Sure, a company is ripping me off, imposing unethical policies onto me, but it's not like I can do anything about it. Complaining about something isn't going to fix it, unless the people in charge themselves are willing to change for the better of society. All this documentary does is make me have a more negative outlook on life and society, and this world in general.
At Rainbow Wolf Official wrote,
The best trick the rich ever pulled was getting us to oppose one another instead of them. Trans people are just the latest boogeyman that they fool us into attacking. Tomorrow it could be you. Only two types of people defend this vile system and hate trans people: idiots and the rich. All one has to do is check their bank account to see which bucket they are in.
At Honeymoon Avenue 97 wrote,
My left rib and abdominal area has been in pain for a year now. No doctor has helped. Every fucking referral I get is for a doctor who is out of network. I submitted a complaint a few days ago. I hope I'll get proper help.
At Ace of Spades 627 wrote,
Can someone explain to me why Americans are so against universal medical care? As a Canadian, our healthcare system is far from perfect, but at least you won't go into tens of thousands of dollars in debt from breaking an arm.
At Destroyer wrote,
The problem is not just the CEO, it is everyone who works for these companies. From the top all the way to the bottom. They collude together to ruin people's lives, but pass the blame because I'm just doing my job. Hold them ALL accountable.
John Wick 2.0 wrote,
When I was 23, I was walking on the side of the road and I was hit by a car. I went to the ER the next morning and got the road rash on my leg cleaned up, prescriptions and crutches. Got a bill for like $500. They harassed me for that $500 for years. Never paid a cent. Good thing I was younger and otherwise healthy.
Evaf Reverie wrote,
My cousin works for legal relate staff. He is good grade insurance appointment a doctor for some important issue have to wait in the queue until next year to able to see the doctor. He also called a front desk for appointment problem, etc. They say they will call back. Never call back. America is a third country.
Enamatiti wrote,
So what you're saying is these people are equivalent to the scamming companies in India? The only difference, insurance companies are supported by legislation. We live in a country that requires insurance but makes it nearly impossible to afford for the average person. And our government doesn't regulate what insurance companies can and don't cover. And yeah, you are going to see people like this, hired to harass people because insurance companies are like the old mob bosses over casinos, except they are supported by our government.
Linda Hoyt 1368 wrote,
So much of this violates the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau enforces the FDCPA. When people want to defund the CFPB, the public would truly be at the mercy of these sickos. State and federal laws are in place to hinder these behaviors. UHC had a class action filed against them in May 2024 for deceptive trade practices. We need to choose if courts will discourage this behavior or.
At Free2, a free fertilizer wrote,
Proposed names for the current healthcare system: profit-driven health complex, chronic profit healthcare; disease monetization system, health profiteering network, SickCare Industrial Complex; chronic disease exploitation system, profit-oriented health machinery, medical profit paradigm, illness capitalism framework. Title: Unveiling the SickCare Industrial Complex. America's silent epidemic. Dear friends and fellow Americans, today, I stand before you not just as a filmmaker, but as a concerned citizen witnessing the unraveling of our nation's most vital institution, healthcare. Our healthcare system, masquerading as a beacon of hope and healing, is in reality a sick care industrial complex, a labyrinth of corruption designed to profit from our pain, our chronic illnesses, and ultimately, our demise. For decades, this system has thrived on the perpetuation of chronic diseases, ensuring a steady stream of income for insurance companies and healthcare executives alike. Instead of prioritizing genuine care and preventive measures, our so-called healthcare providers are entangled in a relentless pursuit of profit. Patients become mere numbers, their suffering commodified to maximize returns. Why is this happening? Because the foundation of our system is built on a flawed premise: treating sickness rather than promoting health. Insurance companies, with their labyrinthine policies and profit margins, have entrenched themselves in a way that benefits shareholders over patients. Every dollar you spend on premiums fuels a cycle where the aim is not to heal but to maintain a profitable status quo. Can we change it? Yes, but only if we dismantle the very structures that perpetuate this cycle. Imagine a system where your healthcare premiums go directly to doctors and healthcare providers dedicated to your well-being, not to faceless insurance conglomerates. A system where the focus shifts from managing chronic illness to fostering a healthier society. It's time to abolish the sick care industrial complex. By removing insurance companies from the equation, we can redirect funds to those on the front lines of healthcare, our doctors, nurses,
and hospitals. Let's prioritize real healthcare over profit-driven models. Every American deserves access to genuine care without the looming specter of corporate greed. Join me in this fight to reclaim our health and our future. Together, we can transform a broken system into one that truly serves the people it was meant to help. Stay healthy, stay informed, and let's bring an end to the SickCare Industrial Complex.
Ethekinguf Nissens wrote,
Healthcare been a huge chunk of my income. They force health insurance on us in our state by law. They do not refund you if you don't use the benefits. Car insurance. Instead of punishing terrible drivers, they charge good drivers the same rate as the poor drivers. Everyone thinks everything is okay in America.
At Section 1703 wrote,
My mother used to work for an insurance company. She only worked there for a month, and she made good money until she just decided to quit after a month, and we were wondering why. She made up an excuse saying, oh, sitting down all day made her fat. But she didn't gain a single pound until later, and she told me that the insurance company is an evil practice and didn't align with her morals. It didn't make sense at the time until I got older, and I started to realize, yay, insurance companies are fooked, and my ma'am was right. She's always right, and now it truly makes sense. Luigi opened Panda's box.
At Nyash 5150 wrote,
6,000 pages of Obamacare was supposed to fix all this. Get the government out of healthcare. It doesn't work. And you can't throw infinite money at every person. Get real. We all suffer and die someday. Get real with it.
As Sloiza 81 wrote,
Half American, half Costa Rican. Our little third world Central American country has universal health care. I pay $50 a month to cover the whole family. Denials don't exist. It's part of the reason we have a blue zone here. All births are free, tourist, illegal immigrant, twins, C-section, whatever. Mothers and children also get everything for free. I graduated from K-State and quit my job before leaving the country. No insurance and broke my finger. Couldn't go to hospital. A week later got bit by a copperhead and had to go to the hospital. For entering the emergency room, getting antivenom, and a night's stay at the hospital, $30,000.
At Justine Fleming 7756 wrote,
Makes you angry, it's all a con, making money scheme, scaring people literally to death, they can charge what they want. My daughter was ill up to 8 years old, cost €17,000, and that didn't include meds in Ireland.
At Keep 9531 wrote,
Not really related to medical insurance, but I used to work for 4 months as a car loan collector for a credit union almost a year after graduating with a BA in International Studies and needed a job while I still searched for positions related to my fields of interest. The position was very stressful, and we had to harass people into paying up their car loans. It was also my fault for not knowing how the whole thing worked and not knowing what the collections department did at the time. I had my fair share of clients who were respectfully casual to downright disrespectful and vulgar. I remember one time when a former colleague was assisting me with a call and snickered at me when I accidentally ticked off a client with a wrong question. It was a very stressful job, and then started working for a different company. Never taking a similar position to that shitty job ever.
Deborah Lesso wrote,
Your life is a commission check. That's the greedy reason why these evil acts go on. So sad. No humanity, no heart, just greed. United States of greed.
wrote,
I don't play the insurance game. I have zero insurance, and I mean zero. If I'm sick, I get fixed and watch them deduct almost half my bill away. B/C, I have no insurance. The irony.
Episolution wrote.
All insurance companies are a scam, and they are all about to use AI as their scapegoat. United Healthcare is a perfect example where CEO gets paid $10 million a year while more than half of all claims get denied, and AI made those decisions washing the hands of the higher-ups. Life, health, auto, home. It doesn't matter.
At Redia436929 wrote.
Jesus, you see how the powerful pit us against each other? This is the most evil and ruthless country on earth, run by vampiric slave drivers who suck everything out of us for their own gain. And most of them aren't even happy or satisfied with all of their wealth and power.
At Claudekenny8355 wrote.
Those who run their businesses this way make their lives into a competition. Imagine how exhausting that is. Free market. An economic system where you're free to exploit people without repercussion.
At JerseyMike5809 wrote.
Just want to say that if you need immediate medical attention, they have to help you and will save you. They cannot let you die. Let them bill you and just don't pay it. There is nothing they can do. People bankrupt themselves paying a bill they don't even have to pay. It's crazy. Eventually a church will pick up the bill for pennies on the dollar, or they will just sell the debt, but you literally do not have to pay the bill. There's nothing they can actually do. Stop being idiots, people.
At Roxhide2614 wrote.
Thank you for speaking out. It's so corrupt, these debts. It's unbelievable. I just got a zero deductible, zero cost prescription plan, and Gad just received the new plan info in print. 4 days later, I received a letter from Medicare advising me to enter their payment plan of around $961 PO/NT, 0 per year, but I qualify for the extra help and that low-cost plan. I had to call them to track down what thus was. Then, I had to call the new plan company back, and they confirmed I have this low-cost plan. The wording on the Medicare form was dubious. It said enroll in this plan, but you need to obtain professional advice, advising you if enrolling in this plan is beneficial to you. Seems like greed and corruption have led insurance companies down the patsy trail of just committing fraud on patients, demanding money, but not authorizing needed treatments. It's like extortion of something. We need comprehensive regulations and restructure of everything from SC to terminating insurance fraud being committed on patients.
Efrufu100 wrote.
That's what happens when you deal with a country that prouds itself for not being so regulated. Regardless of your position towards EU, it will never happen this way here. God bless our normal American friends. Revolt until you get what you want or leave. Don't let officials have it all ways.
Estvargas69 wrote.
Now that once a health insurance, CE. Oh, got deleted. You post this. Where were you when Obamacare was on your lips? Touting it right? Ignorant of the fact that the very insurance companies who run this game wrote the rules to the game, and your politicians took campaign donations, BRXXs, to push it. Right? Complicit. Much like baby boomers wanting cheap goods, so jobs went overseas. Gimme, I don't want to pay. Homines fastidiorum.
Prod 1192 wrote.
Emma had a mental breakdown and went for help. The insurance company said he obviously didn't need help since he was discharged 4 days later. They left him with the entire bill. What a scam!
As Shane Fortner 534 wrote,
The healthcare industry is a joke. Who can have insurance and can't even get help? All they care about is lining that pocket. The rich CEO are the problem and the board below them.
at Natty Ice 100 wrote,
I guarantee you won't see anything like this on the mainstream news conglomerates. This is a matter that affects the working class. Therefore, it doesn't have any place of importance on American televisions.
Mgelfed 3051 wrote,
When I got braces, there was only one office that my insurance completely covered. I went in to get a mold of my teeth, and the nurse dislocated my jaw from pressing down so hard on my lower teeth. Her boss had to come in and realign it. Obviously, my mom and I left immediately after, and she chose another office that my insurance would not pay a cent for. I don't know if the inadequacy of that office had anything to do with my insurance covering it, but it was my first horrible medical experience. It was terrifying, and I still have jaw pain a decade later.
A Shrinking Chef wrote,
Who still answers phone calls from numbers they don't recognize? If they ask for your name or ask for you to confirm your name, say nothing, hang up and block the number. Never give out personal information over the phone. It isn't secure.
The Toolbaggers wrote,
You cannot blame the CEO alone. He does what his investors want, and a company cannot operate without employees. The employees are not merely following orders. They are an integral part of evil.
at Eric Reinhardt 7955 wrote,
The unspoken part by the media is that everyone, and I mean 95% of people, hate this healthcare system. And everyone knows it's going nowhere, and everyone knows why. We have been completely denied any form of political solution to these vampires. So what are we left with?
at Mastermind 111996 wrote,
As a past manager for these car repair corp shops and experienced in car insurance, I'd love to tell you the dirt. It's so similar and messed up.
K. O. 2456 wrote,
If you take a loved one to the hospital, DONOT sign anything. My mom went to the ER. She did have Medicare. Nevertheless, they tried to get Emmy to sign to accept financial responsibility for her care.
at Jassany 3307 wrote,
America has become completely unaffordable in every way. I have a good job, but instead of getting way ahead, live paycheck to paycheck. They poison our food, can't afford to live, can't afford health insurance anymore. As if, can't afford to get sick. I can't even afford to die. How on earth are people making it nowadays? This ain't working, Uncle Sam. When are you going to work for us, for once?
at Montana Mikes wrote,
This is leftist faux victim BLLSHG. If it's my number and I pay the bill when I tell someone to stop calling me, if they don't, then I can sue for harassment. That would immediately cost any corporation more juice than the squeeze is worth. And they will stop calling. It's the individual's responsibility to know their rights and assert them. So quit with the crybaby BLLSHT.
at Nocapsha 8110 wrote,
Seriously, you Americans need to start going to better Asian countries for treatment. A return trip would cost less than the ambulance ride. Singapore public health care is one of the best and is really affordable to non-citizens. We went to the NUS campus adjacent public hospital, and it cost less than $1,000 for 4 people, medicine included.
and Not Haresli wrote,
I hate that my first reaction to their stories was like, well, I mean, that's not the worst thing I ever heard, as if any of this has to be acceptable in the first place. Ugh.
The Taylor 1052 wrote,
Government works for the corporate overlords. We are supposed to live in a democracy, but yet our government lies to us, hides stuff from us, experiments on us, silenced experiment, spies on us, Patriot Act. And when we complain about it and want to stand up for justice, they lock us up and make examples of us by using the police state to suppress the 99% peasantry. Wake up, America. Our corrupt government works for their corporate overlords, not the American people, soaking up all the American people's money while we struggle. This is why we need transparent government. Enough is enough. Take our country back. There's no reason an electric official should go in office broke and come out a millionaire. That's not working for the American people.
And Mishma wrote,
John Oliver did an episode on this on whatever late night show he had at the time. He announced that the show he was hosting at the time purchased their debt from the audience, and they were shocked. They were crying tears of joy.
At Elizabeth Commons, P2D wrote,
KY officials and City Louisville smear campaigned me to being homeless. Greed is real. Attorney Rube and stole my settlement funds. Vice needs to continue these stories and more like these.
At Nabal Aliana wrote,
The U.S. government has been taking such high taxes from its people. So why can't they just provide the basic need health care of its people? The healthcare system and the health insurance system both are corrupted and need a tremendous change, and it's now or never. Nowhere in this world healthcare costs so high. So why a country with one economy in the world can't provide a reasonable healthcare cost for its own people?
At Reef Cloverson wrote,
Real journalism. The death of Brian Thompson is the fault of the media and the people who control the media for not covering the people. Instead, they are following pointless stories that are forgotten. Our society has been intentionally rotted by anti-intellectualism, allowing the current system to prevail. Our current system incentives the human nature of greed, which leads to a decline in the quality of human life over time. True humanity is in planting a tree in which you may never see the shade.
At Sebastian El Drago 3432 wrote,
This reminds me of the movie The Incredibles, where Mr. Incredible works for the insurance company and his boss says, I don't care about their coverage, Bob. Don't tell me about their coverage. Tell me how you're keeping SickCare in the black. Tell me how that's possible with you writing checks to every Harry Hardlick and Sally Substory that gives you a phone call. Or we're supposed to help our people. Starting with our stockholders, Bob. Who's helping them out, huh? They hit that nail on the head long ago. It's just money, people. That's all it boils down to. And we all suffer for it.
At Supergirl 089 DR wrote,
I worked as an insurance agent before and hated it. It's harassing people on the phone over and over again for money. Hours on the phone to get some commission and survive. It's all BS.
At Frankie Sinestein wrote,
This is the kind of videos we need to be seeing, not the bullshit that traditional news are putting out. This is the conversation we need to be having. The assholes in the ivory towers can stay there with their mouths shut.
ARFH for Chu wrote,
I feel like more work needs to be done for the anonymity of the person speaking. We can tell they are black. Also, I wonder if this is UHG given the timing.
At Josethmeral 7881 wrote,
Car insurance is a bigger scam because they lobbied most states to use law enforcement to take your car if you can't afford to pay for coverage.
Steal It Not wrote,
Reminder that this is set up by Vice as leaked through a live stream a Vice editor did a week ago. They aren't even consistent with the type of insurance they do, much less about how any actually work. The stories are all made up. This was made to capitalize on the outrage from the United CEO murder because Vice is completely bankrupt.
At Irvin Urquia wrote,
Most people don't understand insurance. It is highly complicated. It's not as simple as, I pay this company, it covers everything using the premiums collected from everyone. Their reinsurance and loss adjusters, actuarials, brokers, etc. Also, insurance companies do go out of business too if they are too liberal with risk-taking.
At Alley 5078 wrote,
The government is doing this too. They are hoarding thousands of unemployment checks from people in dire need of that money and legally obligated to it. It's something with the new administration that they are waiting for, but they are willing to let people suffer to avoid paying.
At Andre Lopez 2514 wrote,
Ooh, the insurance in USA are a whole new level thing. I mean, I can't understand how they can deny a claim once we already have an approval from them. Now, this last month, I was told that the patient needs medical necessity for a procedure, but they deny to start an authorization because is not required. How the hell do we know it? We meet their medical necessity. The reps themselves didn't know. I mean, the audacity.
At Seth Reynolds 3704 wrote,
Yep, I can see it happening. A trend setting. It won't be just the CEOs anymore. You fucked up. I just work here. Nah, that doesn't fly. You're affiliated.
At Meditations 2024 wrote,
Wait, so people who owe money insurance subrogation are actually expected to pay it? Wow. Had a coworker get hit by an uninsured motorist. His insurance company had to pay him for his loss, then go after the person responsible for creating that loss via insurance subrogation. We all pay higher premiums because these monsters don't pay their fair share. I don't feel sorry for them at all.
Wrote,
From a shitty third world country, my medical facility is nowhere near ideal. But it's 100-fold accessible, much cheaper, including medicine. Not all, of course. Our reproductive rights are insured as well. These are results of the socialist foundation we have in our constitution. When I think almost everyone in my family will be dead because of health complications, I may never even be born because my mom had complications during birth if we were American, who knew a country built on slavery and genocide of native people, have the culture of being invasive, including to its own people to this day.
At Axis Vale wrote,
Hey Vice, how about you do a story on how people are not only alive, but they are also dead? We are the residents to evil lol. If you look it up, I've seen some of these insurance corporations and our corporations named / umbrella holding corp. In the movies, we are all the zombies. And those survivors are corporations.
At Mabubin 23 wrote,
As good as humanity can be, there have always been vultures willing to prey on the misery and suffering of others, if it makes their lives comfortable and secure. A tale as old as time.
At Grateful Wanderer 00 wrote,
I had a medical emergency out of state last year and ended up with $4,000 in medical bills because I was out of network. Now I'm stuck paying those off, and my health insurance premium for individual coverage is going up to $409 per month in 2020. 5 doesn't include vision or dental. Did I mention my $4,000 deductible? It's a fucking joke. Can't even save dollar right now.
At Atlantic Islander wrote,
Health insurance in the U.S. is a true cancer of this country. It's legalized fraud. How can this actually exist? It really needs to be rooted out. Such greed and mistreatment of people cannot continue as is.
At Angeli 30 wrote,
The most valuable and profitable things of this world are gold and the people. American food alone has mind altering chemicals that create altering effects in the body. This wicked world capitalizes off of death, When will PPL understand? Your SSN is everything you really are, just a dollar number dollar.
At Nomad 60453 wrote,
This is my number 2 reason for wanting to leave the US is healthcare. It's insane how that your ability to live is determined by your wealth. No wealth means you have no value. That is how America sees you.
At Hesslerly and Bejarano 9046 wrote,
The insurance company brought a claim against me. Subgoratory claim. I just ignore their calls and throw away their letters and not think of ever paying them. They're a billion-dollar company coming after a normal person like Brah. You're coming after me because you did your job and paid the person?
Zipchef wrote,
Milgram would be proud the obedience experiment. Conducted in 1961. The experiment aimed to investigate how far individuals would go in obeying an authority figure, even when it involved harming another person. Participants were instructed to administer electric shocks to a learner who was actually an actor, whenever they answered questions incorrectly. Findings: a surprising 65% of participants continued to administer shocks up to the maximum voltage, despite hearing the learner's protests and apparent distress. The results highlighted the powerful influence of authority on behavior, raising ethical questions about the treatment of participants in psychological research.
Curb the Pain wrote,
There's a reason I've been tearing up ALL of my medical bills since I turned 18. Think I'll pay? Fat effing chance. Make the system fair, or I refuse to even acknowledge anything other than the services rendered.
At David Leduc 7039 wrote,
Talking about society when it was you, lady. You did those things. Sure, you were pressured, but normal financial pressure is no justification for deliberately shaking people down and lying to them knowing your success is based on their loss. Interesting story. I don't buy the contrition.
At Swigalius 689 wrote,
Why is healthcare so expensive you need to make payments to an insurance company in case you get sick so they can pay your health bill? That's my question.
At Mark Francis 1369 wrote,
As a struggling veteran, I'm in one of these predicaments, and it's driven me to some of my darkest moments in my life. Over military. It hurts to even watch this.
At Richard Spillers 6282 wrote,
I won't be surprised if I walk into Waffle House one day and my waitress is wearing a high-vis safety vest and safety glasses just to pour coffee.
At Paul Wog 857 wrote,
Agreed, but we are a constitutional republic. Corporations are basically sociopaths sucking the life out of the planet and its inhabitants. Money is man-made, and they use it as an excuse to do their evil. The earth comes to us free and exudes abundance, complete with free water, free food, and clean oxygen, all our needs. These money addicts now charge us for polluted water, pollutes our air and our food, taxes us to live on earth, and tells us our economic model is scarcity-based. Do you not see there's more going on than the lust for money?
At Secret_Takadachi wrote,
Corporations are literally cancer on the societal body of America. They extract more and more resources from their customers and the government and give as little back as they're legally able to. This allows them to grow and consume smaller, less profitable companies in their field that may be more customer-focused and quality-focused over being profit-driven first and foremost. This leads them to dominate their industry by dominating more and more market share while also lobbying regulators to allow more mergers and looser regulations. This is exactly how cancer works. It manipulates a body's systems to divert resources to the cancer, allowing it to grow at the expense of the rest of the body. This eventually leads to the cancer spreading and affecting multiple other systems. This unchecked growth inevitably leads to the death of the body to the detriment of the body and the cancerous growth. This is what unchecked, unregulated, and unanswerable corporations can and will do to America.
A V24T wrote,
A lot of Americans bash on socialism and communism. But there are lots of great things about socialism. For example, the socialist healthcare in Canada and the Nordic countries Denmark, Sweden, Finland, etc., where they believe that access to healthcare is a human right. Even though at this time, Canada's healthcare system is very dysfunctional and has basically collapsed. But at least, people can go to a walk-in clinic and see a primary care doctor / a family medicine specialist and not have to worry about paying up front. Because the money for healthcare automatically gets deducted from our taxes in Canada. At least, Canadians can go to the emergency room and get help without having the stress of paying up front. Or even paying at all, because it all gets covered through our tax money. The capitalists in America keep pushing propaganda upon the Americans that they should be hating anything socialist or communist. Because then the greedy capitalists would not be able to make money that way.
a Stardust VM1QS wrote,
Disgusting human behavior. America is the most powerful country in the world, yet we send our taxpayer money to other countries for WAR. Healthcare in America should be free for all Americans.
A Star Trek 4 Life wrote,
The reason this isn't viral is because big media is bought by the insurance companies. This is real journalism. My friend's father kept insisting that there was an issue. He struggled to swallow. This man doesn't smoke or drink. He was diagnosed with stage 1 esophageal cancer. The medication he was taking wasn't helping, and the doctors were not listening to him. Then when they checked again a few months later, it was upgraded to stage 3, and a month later, it was stage 4. He went on chemo for months with no success. They took him off chemo so that he could live the last month of his life at home. He essentially died because of the medical malpractice. If they listened a whole lot sooner, my friend's father could still be alive and not in medical debt.
A Bakihama 644 wrote,
One collector called me looking for my brother. I told him that I wasn't my brother and that I haven't talked to him in a long time, which was all true. I thought he was joking when he got shitty and said you don't know where your own brother is first of all. I didn't know who this airfuck in jail was on the other end of the phone, and on top of that he hasn't a tooted. I snapped so fast that this ass apologized and hung up on me. He probably lost his job that day. I changed his life for the better if he did get fired.
Ananth wrote,
Maybe the solution is to regulate treatment price, so that health insurance companies cannot use the absurdly high treatment costs to justify their ridiculous health insurance plans that don't work.
A Hapster Game wrote,
Think why oh you 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 thank you whoever isthemanthe interview thank why oh you think why oh you think why oh you thank you.
A Gracie0187 wrote,
When I lived in Korea, I paid approximately $5 USD for an x-ray of my broken toe, $2 for 5 days worth of cold meds, $3 to $7 for a walk-in doctor visit. Then I came back to the US. I am terrified of getting hurt or falling ill. Making an appointment to see someone takes forever. It is ridiculous here.
At Obey__dog wrote,
These collectors are the lowest form of life, if you can even call it life. It's honestly scary what people can tell themselves to sleep at night. It's just all a rationalization.
At YT Sparty wrote,
I hate how they're only focusing on insurance companies. Hospitals, doctors, pharma companies are also vile and complicit in our horrible healthcare system. Just think, United Health made $400 billion. That's insane. That's money that should have been used in healthcare and instead went into the pockets of billionaires. How do you turn this around when we keep voting for politicians who are taking that money to do nothing?
at Earth Speaks Conservation wrote,
Another trick they use is to drop people if they can find some type of excuse to do so. This is after the person has been paying them for many years and not made a claim.
At Jose Farrington wrote,
Simple, don't take calls from random people. And if someone wants to collect from you, let them send you a bill by mail. Then go to lawyer, or if you think you are out of the hook for the bill, then ignore it and move on with your life. Then check your credit reports every year to make sure that there are no negative marks on it.
at Devsh Kaiser wrote,
Folks need to remember, the health insurance companies are not just CEOs. They are thousands of people working together to deny healthcare. Brian Thompson wasn't handling the phones. He wasn't sending out the letters, harassing people daily. He was just one of the heads of the Hydra. The body is still moving because all the other heads are there.
and Ninilovskake wrote,
You never actually need to talk to these people. Subrogation should be a professional practice correspondent in writing. If you have a policy for coverage, that policy is in writing, so what the F would anyone be doing talking to these dipshits calling claimants for money? Insurance policies determine coverage. Not these weirdos. My response to any call like that would be FOFF, and that's literally it. It's depressing to think people believe these assholes who don't know anything about policy language.
at Sam Ehrlich 6857 wrote,
Luigi was not stupid. He stood up for those who couldn't. He's a hero. Not all CEOs are bad. In fact, most CEOs are amazing, but healthcare, energy, military, and pharma are evil. Free Luigi.
at Brian Racer wrote,
In a completely unrelated note, napalm can be made with common materials around the house. Please, guys, don't take things into your own hands. I'm begging you.
at Francisco Andriata 5803 wrote,
My father is a doctor here in Argentina. And even though he's far from perfect, I'm pretty proud that he was a loved man in town. In my country, we have public hospitals that are very good and many operations/medical stuff is free. Ik shalom.
at Davidriv 777 wrote,
In November, I was hit by a drunk driver and totaled my car. Insurance covered what they could, and the hospital hit a $11,000 bill for a simple hour-long visit and expects me to pay it. Tried to set up a payment plan, and the minimum was $250/mo. Tried to get financial assistance, and they won't send me the form. America.
at Methubascom 1811 wrote,
Okay, first 10 seconds into the video, and I can say for sure if anyone dangerous enough is close enough to her, they're going to recognize the way she speaks.